another video, no equipment today at all. But what I'd really like to get across with this video is I've been doing some training every weekend through Zoom with a physiotherapist who has really made me think about moving our backs more, the importance of lateral flexions, rotations and extensions. And so really that's my main aim with this. It's a little bit different and I just want you to allow yourself to move. So stick with it and let's get going. So we're going to begin sitting down, however works best for you to come down to the mat. And we're just going to sit with our feet out in front of us. Now I'm going to pull each of my seat bones right back. So pull them right back underneath you, really feeling that length through your hamstrings. My feet aren't glued together, but I'm just going to sit as best I can, as tall as I can. Now from there, if this is difficult for you, you might want to bend your knees a little bit. And from there, I want you to visualize a wave and just quite literally start to move your back. So rather like a wave in motion. And I've anchored the seat bones and I'm just lifting the heart and bringing it down. Lift up, bring it down. Not really using the shoulders as such, just think spine. Do whatever feels good to you with your arms. And then you're going to pause. And I'm going to take a little rotation to one side. And again, be careful if you have any kind of disc issues as you're doing this, that we're not doing obviously rotation with forward flexion. So I'm using my hands lightly on the side of the leg just to encourage me over to that side. Allow your back, like a ripple effect almost. I'm using the head, neck and chest down and back. And there's no specific number. Coming back very gently through the center, rotating to the other side. Now remember, rotation doesn't come from your lumbar spine. It's coming from your middle back, the rotation. So you shouldn't see that your feet have started to one foot forwards, the other foot backwards. And from there, this lovely fluid ripple effect again, rounding. And it might look a bit weird, but it feels really good on your back. Rounding and really just feel that you are moving. And remember, I'm using my arms just very gently on the outside edge of that thigh just to assist me. And pause. Come back through center again. Maybe just a few more. Round, up. Just allow it. Rather like when we circumduct the spine in full point kneeling. And pause here. Now we're going to come onto our hands and knees into a box position or quadruped or however you recognize it. And I just want you to think about lovely length through the spine all the time. So lengthen is something that I always want you to be thinking about. Through the crown of the head and down through your tail. A neutral position. I'm just going to move a little backwards, a little forwards, back and forth like so. And whenever you're ready, we'll just take it a little more to one side. Just back a little, forwards a little. Obviously, if you've got any wrist issues, you might want to be careful with this. And then pause, and I'm going to come to the other side exactly the same. Just warming up. Nice long lengthened neck. And back through center. And from there, I'm going to start a little cat stretch. From the tail, belly button, bottom ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs. And then pushing the head and tail. Really trying to get into that middle upper back. And again, keep the flow. Cat stretch up. And then pushing head and tail away with my focus on my upper middle back. And again, curling and pushing away. And again, curling. I just want you to move that spine. Flex and extend. Now I'm going to take my hands a little to one side and I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to curl and I'm going to extend. And I'm going to curl, curl, curl and extend. Really focus on that middle upper back. From the tail, belly button, bottom ribs, middle ribs up. And push the breastbone forwards. We come across to the other side of the mat. And again, we curl and we extend. We curl round to then extend. We'll do one more. Curl, 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 and extend. Bring it all the way back around and pause. And now I want you to allow yourself to come into the curl and back through the extension. And now you're going to come into the curl, pause, tuck the toes a little, and a baby hover. Bring it back down and extend. Curl under and a hover. And down to extend. Tucking my toes, curl and hover. And back down and extend. We're going to do that just gently to one side. So from here, I'm going to tuck the toes, curl and hover. And back down and extend. Curl and hover. And back down and extend. One more. Curl the tail, hover. And back down and extend. I'm just going to move myself a little bit across to the other side of the mat as I come across. I'm not coming very far. And again, curl the tail, hover. Back down and extend. Curl from the tail, belly button, bottom ribs, middle ribs, hover. And back down and extend. Now note, I'm not actually allowing my chin to tuck in towards my chest. All the way back down and pause. And then bring it back through centre. And quite literally, as long as your knees don't mind, we're going to bring it all the way down. Pause. And I want you to breathe into the back and the base of your lungs. Right into the base of the low back. So really inhale wide and full. And an exhale. And again, inhale right into the base of the back. And exhale. And you can slowly reset low back, middle back, upper back, eyes, and just allow yourself just to circle and circle and circle and pause. Okay, back onto the hands and knees again. And now I'm going to slightly hover my lower leg. And I'm going to imagine wagging my tail to one side and then to the other. So I'm staying in neutral and just wag and wag and wag and wag. Now we've done something similar to this in the past where we've quite literally just had one leg up and we were looking like so. But I want you to do both. And I'm not quite so much into pulling the head all the way around. I want you to feel this in your spine. And I also want you to think that when you go into these little lateral flexions, they come from parting the ribs. So if I go to my right, I'm expanding my ribs on the left, so I'm pulling every rib apart. Then as I go to my left with the legs, I'm pulling every rib apart on the right. And you can make it a little faster now, not pulling the head around too much, a little faster, 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 and pause there. Perfect. Now slowly from there we're going to come back. We're going to bring it all the way up and hold. Now all I want you to do is stay very, very long in your spine, and you're simply going to lift one thigh, lift the other thigh, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. Now there's no tucking, so there's no sort of falling down like so. Just lift, lift. Keep the pelvis as still as you can manage. Lift and lift and lift and lift. We'll just do a few more and lift and lift and lift. Now pause, and I want you just to pull the shoulder blades forwards and open the shoulder blades back, forwards and back, and forwards and back, and shoulder blades and shoulder blades. So you're pulling the shoulder blades apart and then you're drawing them together. We'll just do a couple more. Forwards and back, and forwards and back. Now slowly from there, come down onto the toes. So this time the toes are not tucked under. And again, my hands are just down by my sides and I want to lift, lower, lift, lower, lift and lower. Now, is it easier to do this one side than the other? So these are really important positions for our toes to go into. Lift, keep the upper body really beautifully straight. Lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. We'll do 2 and 1. And you might find that one side is easier than the other. Maybe you've got more flexibility in one foot than the other. So now we're going to come back down again into our hands and knees position, our 4-point kneeling. We're going to try a little bit of centering. So all I want you to do is elevate one knee, one hand. Hold. Really think about the length through the whole of the spine and bring it back down. And again, we lift the other knee, the other hand. Hold and breathe. Really think about the length through your spine again and bringing it back down. And again, we lift, hold, and all the way back down. And again, we lift and hold, and bring it back down. So it should be easy for you when you lift and hold to pause, to just reach, feel how stable you are, all the way back down to hover, and all the way to the other side. Are you breathing? No hip hiking. Really push that floor away. Remember, it should feel easy to just reach away. This is a lovely long neck and all the way back. Now we're going to add a little bit to this. So we're going to hover the arm and hover the knee, or hover the hand and hover the knee. And now I want you to do some little circles. Circling. So it's as though my belly button was polishing the floor. I'm not using my arm to circle, and I'm not using my leg to circle. I'm circling around like so. And then we're going to pause and we go the other way. Around and around. So there's a lot of stability required, a lot of concentration. Around and around. And pause, place it back down. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So you're going to be strong through your support wrist, and you're going to circle and circle. Circle, it doesn't matter how big it is, but imagine that your belly was polishing in a circular fashion on the floor. And we circle, and the temptation to just use the arm or use the leg is quite strong. But you're not going to. And now we're going to go the other way. Circle and circle and circle and circle. So just a couple more and around and pause. Now slowly from there, tuck your toes under, bring it all the way back up. You might want to just circle your wrists one way, circle your wrists the other way. It's good to weight bear onto those wrists. But now, we'll go into the feet, the hips again. So we're going to lift all the way up, bring it back down. Lift all the way up, but now flatten both toes. All the way down. Straight up, straight down. Lift up, tuck the toes, down. Lift up, tuck the toes so they're flat. And then back up. Tuck them, so we go down onto the heels every time. Really ensuring that you open through your hip. Tuck the toes under, lift it up. Pressing down, lifting it up. Tucking the toes, lifting it up. Obviously, if you've got a bad knee problem, you might not want to be doing these. But if you can, we'll just do 2 more. Very nice and stable in your upper body. Lift up, last one, and up, and all the way back. Now, from here we're coming back down again, thinking rotations for our spine. So I want you to take one hand onto your forehead. And all we're going to think about here is almost like a little salute. And we're going to open to the side. And then we're going to bring it down, not too far. And again, we open to the side. And as we do these, I want you to be thinking as you open up that you're almost drawn by your cheekbone, your top cheekbone, and down. So remember that from your waist downwards, your 5 lumbar vertebrae, they should be stable. They are not rotators. This is your middle back, and down. The middle back are the rotators. Encourage with that cheekbone. Up and bring it down. If you can, you're going to hold it up here and we're going to do little pulses. Now keep your neck long. So really guide with that cheekbone back and back. And then bring that hand down. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we take the hand as though we're doing a little almost salute, but the fingers are against the forehead. And we're going to open and bring it down. And open and bring it down. And open, 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 and bring it down. And open, 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 and bring it down. So really stay strong on that support hand. Feel that middle back rotation. Keep thinking about the length in the spine and down. And we'll just do 2 more and down. And 1 more and down. And this time, if you can manage, we hold it here, be led by that cheekbone, and we're going to pulse and pulse and pulse and pulse. So don't pull on your neck, keep length in your spine throughout. We'll do 3 and 2 and 1, bringing it all the way back. You can sit back if your wrists need a little bit of rotations. Please just do them, flamenco hands. And again, you can circle those shoulder blades. Keep them moving. Forwards, backwards, circling, and forwards, backwards, backwards. Perfect. Now from here you're going to face forwards. We're going to do a little bit of flexion for the spine now. So bring the feet around to the front. And just really, really simple here. So you're going to sit beautifully tall, and just as you did when you did your cat stretches, you'll send the tail away from you, pulling the belly button, the bottom ribs, the middle ribs, the upper ribs. Drag your feet and let yourself come all the way down to the floor. Open the collarbones. Now from there, lift your head, neck and chest up. Move the thigh bones away from you. On an exhale, blow the air out and just come all the way back up and feel extension of your upper middle back. And again, send the tail away from you, massaging down through the spine. Open the collarbones. Lift the head, neck and chest up as you inhale. Now I push my thigh bones away from me as I exhale. The feet flatten and we lift into extension. And again, keep it moving. Remember, one of our principles of Pilates is flow, lifting. As you exhale, another is breathing, breath. Lift, 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 lift. I don't mind how you breathe, but please just make sure that you do breathe. And all the way down. We'll do 2 more of these. Length at the back of the neck. Pick your head, neck and chest up. As I breathe out, I push the thigh bones away from me. Feel the seat bones lift the heart. We're going to do just 1 more, bringing it all the way down, 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 down. But this time, rather than coming all the way back up, I'm just going to move a little my thigh bones away from me. Clasp the hands together, put them behind the middle skull, and we're just going to do a simple little chest lift. So I've kept my big toes touching, the elbows come into peripheral vision, not clamping the face at all. Connect the bottom ribs down towards the floor, the sacrum remains level, make sure that your tailbone is not overly weighted. And you're going to lift your head, neck and chest all the way back up. Now we're simply going to come down and lift it up. Coming down and lifting it up. Now you are not in this position just waggling your neck. You are lifting. Now if I'm going too fast for you, so we're lift and lower. If I'm going too fast, you can do it at half the pace. We lift and we lower. And I'm not just letting myself collapse down. Lift and lower. We lift, lift, lift and lower. We lift, lift, lift and lower. Now remember that tail, not using the legs at all. I just want you to think abdominals and flexion of your spine. Elbows shouldn't be clamping every time. And again, lift, lift, lift and lower. We'll do a couple more and lower. And lift, lift, lift and lower. Quietly from there, bring those heels towards the bottom. Allow your feet to come to the floor, and I'm going to bring the arms down by my sides, and we're going to do some bridging. So from here, make sure that those feet are relatively close to the bottom. So remember, too far away, that's more of a base 100 position. Bring them that little bit closer, but never feet behind your knees. Okay, otherwise you're too flexed in your knee joint. And so from here, neutral spine, level sacrum, T12 heavy, collarbones are open. We're going to very lightly visualize the bowl of soup on your pelvis or in between hip bone, pubic bone, navel. Draw your hip bones lightly backwards and slowly start to peel every bone one at a time up until you feel that you really can't go very much further. With incredibly soft ribs, lovely open collarbones. Can you remember when you're up in this bridge position, you're almost imagining squeezing something in between your knees? And your little seat bone lights, which are obviously your seat bones, you're going to spin them up towards the ceiling. You should feel your bottom kicks in, your hip opens, your hamstrings work. And then I just want you to melt all the way back down again. So let's make that flow a little more. So draw the hip bones very lightly back. Imagine your spine was attached to the floor by a line of poppers, and as you come up, you're coming up and up and up, only to about the base of the shoulder blades there or thereabouts. Now lift those seat bone lights up, inhale at the top, and lay the bones back down again. Sequentially find your neutral spine. And we repeat, so the hip bones lightly draw backwards. We lift all the way up, just to about the base of the shoulder blades. Remember the pubic bone leads, the thigh bones reach forwards, the seat bones lift into full beam. Inhale at the top, and as you exhale, lay the bones all the way back down again. Now I want to get the back moving a little more. So this time, inhale, widen full, hip bones lightly draw backwards, come all the way back up and pause into your full bridge. Now if you feel you're a little wild with your thigh bones here, you could always put a cushion or a towel in between your knees. But from here, I just want you to imagine that you have two pockets full of sand. And I want you just to tip a little down towards the right, as though the sand was beginning to pour out of your right pocket. You should now feel more the inside edge of your right shoulder blade, slightly the outside edge of your facet joints, your spine. And you're going to just melt down the outside edge of your spine until you push forwards into a neutral position and you're sort of on the inside edge of that right bottom cheek. Now draw the hip bones all the way back up. Keep those knees reaching forwards as we come all the way back up. Back through centre, spill the sand out of the left pocket and come all the way down the left side of your spine. Finding yourself back into neutral. Come all the way back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Pause. Back through level. Spill the sand out of your right pocket. Come all the way down the right side of your spine. Make sure those knees are pretty even all the way back up. All the principles of that sequential movement. When you lift at the top and you come to center, really focus on those seat bones. And again, we'll come all the way down, 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 down. Find the inside edge of that left bottom cheek and come all the way back up, back up, back up. Leveling the pelvis out. We'll just take the arms back once and lay the bones all the way back down. Now we're not done yet. Bring the arms all the way back. Now if your arms are more comfortable in maybe a capital E or a T position because you feel that that either stabilizes you better or it helps you just to open the chest better, then please choose a different arm position. We're going to come all the way back up again and pause. Now I want you to imagine that underneath your hips there is a skateboard or an old-fashioned typewriter bar that goes across and you type and then it comes all the way back and you push it across. So you are level, you're not dropping hips now. Spirit level bubble, left to right, stays even. Now all I want you to do from up here is I want you to slide across to your left. Now the knees stay pretty much as they are. Don't drop down at all and slide across towards your right. Come back through center, drop down 1 centimeter. We'll slide to the left and slide to the right. Come back through center, drop down 1 centimeter. So as we continue this is a lateral translation of your spine. Back through center, bring it back down. Slide to the left, slide as though your hips were on that skateboard to the right. Back through center, down, and maybe just fit one more in. Slide to the left, no dropping of one hip or the other. Slide to the right, back through center, and just come all the way back down. We're going to do one more, all the way back up, back up, back up. Now because we did the left as our start last time, let's do the right. So just drop down ever so slightly, come across to the right first, be careful you don't drop a hip or waggle your knees, all the way across to the left, back through center, down 1 centimeter, slide to the right, to the left, back through center, down 1 centimeter, slide it, keep breathing, keep soft in your shoulders, down 1 centimeter, slide, and slide, back through center, down 1 centimeter. We'll make this the last one, to the side, all the way across to the other side, all the way back, and all the way back down to neutral spine. Perfect. So from here, this time we're going to curl all the way back up, back up, back up, and pause. Now a little bit of single side reliance, so we're going to think about our left side as our stabilizer. And we're going to slowly from there almost imagine an internal rotation of that side as we pick up the right side. Now remember, you've still got that skateboard or typewriter, you're not dropping at all. And you're going to place that foot carefully down. And now you're going to be thinking about your right side as your stabilizer, almost an invisible internal rotation of the right thigh bone as you breathe out and pick up your left leg. So you could do just a couple of these each side, really focusing on alignment, on breath, on the flow, the careful positioning of the foot every time that you exchange from one side to the other. And then you can just hold with that left leg up. You can lower a little, lift a little, lower a little, lift a little, lower a little, lift a little, lower and lift. Now your focus here all the time is not really on this left side, it's just staying very stable. It's on this glute, the hip extensors on the right side. We'll just do a few more. If you're feeling it really strong, you can always just stop whenever you feel it is necessary. And pause. Place that foot carefully down on the left. Make sure everything feels really symmetrical, left to right. Now our left side is our new stabilizing side. And we pick up that right leg and we simply lower a little, lift a little. Be careful of shoulders. Your arms are there to assist, just very gently. We lower a little, lift a little. Remember your imaginary leg vest over your ribs. My cue in my mind here is the pushing forwards of that left thigh bone towards my left knee, to think that the pubic bone lifts and reaches forwards. My sacrum reaches long. Remember, we're always thinking lengthen, not compression in our spine. Lift, and then we can pause, place that foot down. Arms could come back behind you and lay the bones all the way back down. And from there, clasp the hands together, pop them behind the middle skull. Draw one leg into bent knee. Find a level sacrum, bottom ribs down, and as you breathe out, bring your other leg into bent knee. So we're going back into a little bit of the spine again, and this time rotation with flexion. So a little bit of length at the back of the neck. Pick your head, your neck, your chest, all the way back up and pause. And all I want you to do is think about rotation to one side, back through center. Rotation to the other, back through center. We rotate and back, and we rotate and back, and rotate and back, rotate and back. So if this doesn't suit you, you can always leave out the head lifting. You could always sit in your bottom and just do a little bit of seated rotation at this point. Rotate now, not letting my tail get heavy at all. Rotate and back. It's not about the elbow. Think shoulder up towards the outside edge of that knee. Rotate and back, and rotate and back. Now you could add a little bit to this if you wanted to, by allowing your knees to lower down a little, just making it a little more challenging. And we'll just do a couple more. Down and back. Last one and back. And then only if you feel you can straighten those legs. And as you lower them, you're going to think, can I hold this? If I can't, then I want you just to bring your knees in towards your chest. But if you're looking for a little bit more strength, then just reach and reach and reach and lower. And then slowly from there, you can bring your head down, reach the arms out to the side, all the way down by your sides, and just hug in for a moment. Thigh bones can circle a couple of ways one way, a couple of times the other way. Now, slowly from there, we're going to come onto our side. So we're going to come onto the side like so, just a nice elbow position here. And I want you to think about your rib cage here. So you're going to really focus on the ribs and how you can position yourself on the mat. And really it's your rib cage that is most influential. So if you imagine lateral flexion as just being the ribs pulling apart from each other on one side and then drawing back together on that side but pulling apart on the other side. So this is a really important concept of how to look at lateral flexion. So I'll just do that again. As we come up, I want you to imagine that your underside ribs are knitting together. As we come down, I want you to imagine that your underside ribs are pulling apart. And obviously you've got exactly the same but opposite happening up here. So you're just coming up and you're coming down. So I want you to try that with your hand on your head. And we come up and we come down. We come up and we come down. Up, 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 and down. So you should really feel that that spine is moving. Up, 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 and down, and up, up, and down. Now from there, we're going to imagine that there is a little light on the elbow. And I want you to now bring that elbow down. You're going to bring it around, lift it up, circle it around and down. Lift it up, circle it around and down. So up, circling around. So there is flexion and extension of your spine. And around, 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 up to come over. And we're going to go the other way. So we'll come up, circle down and around, and up. Circle down and around, and up. Watch you don't just clamp the chin to the chest. Around and up, 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 and around. Let's do a couple more of these. Remember that little light on your elbow. And one more, all the way around and up. Now simply from here, we're going to make this a little bit more challenging, coming off the floor with the hips. So allow yourself to shorten the underside ribs, lift and expand the top ribs, and then slightly exchange in the other direction. So I'm shortening the underside, expanding the top, and then expanding the underside a little and shortening the top. So we're just coming up and down. Use this spine. It's not just about your hips, but also the energy going through the crown of the head. Really, really important. And we reach and down. And we'll do a couple more. Make it come from the spine. And one more, and all the way back down. Perfect. Slowly from there, I want you to outstretch your underside arm. And you can either have it into this little bent elbow position, or it can be long. And you're going to reach your top leg away from you. You're going to bring the other arm up, and we're simply going to do some circles with our top leg. Now you could flex or you could point, entirely up to you. Perhaps flexion helps you to think more about length through that leg. We circle and circle, circle and circle. Be careful of your rib cage that it's not pushing out. Circle and circle, circle and circle. We'll do one more and pause, and we'll go the other way. Circle and circle, circle and circle. Really focus on your form all the time. Circle, circle, circle and circle. So we've got the lateral hip working now, stability of the spine. Circle, circle, circle and pause. Now simply lower and lift, lower and lift. You lift as high as you can manage to keep your pelvis beautifully stable. Lower and lift, lower and lift. Imagine that you were cleaning a window with the sole of your foot, and lift and lift and lift and lift. Now remember, there are modifications also for your arm position. You could always have your arm like this with some cushions underneath your ear, underneath your head. We'll just do one more and pause. Slowly from there, bring that knee all the way back in. Now I want you just to make sure that you're not going to fall off your mat. So I'm going to come a little further forwards. Now, allow your elbows to bend and keep your knees exactly as they are. We're going to bring that top elbow down. And now I'm just going to let my elbows open, 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 open. And again, little book openings. Bring it down. Keep reaching length into your spine and bring it back, 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 back. And again, coming across and open, 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 open. Now, note how I'm trying to keep my knees as stacked as possible on every repetition. Back, 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 back. So I'm trying not to let the hips roll. Remember, from the waist down, you're as stable as you can manage, and this is your upper middle back that's rotating. And we'll just do one more. Open, open, open. Now pause. Now from here, I just want you to bring your legs so that they open, and then bring the legs so it comes back. Now trying very hard to keep those elbows down onto the floor, and we just open through the legs. Sacrum is nice and level, and all the way back down. So it's rather like this, a little half supine spine twist. So now we request stability of the upper middle back, and we try to use our low back rotators. So that's still your thoracic spine. So that's still your low middle back. Really think about that length through your tail. And again, we'll just do a couple more to the side, all the way back, and one more to the side, and all the way back. And then bring it all the way back over, and slowly you can push yourself all the way back up. Just sit for a moment, pull one seat bone out, pull the other seat bone out, and then slowly from there, I just want you to allow yourself to come down and pause. Quite literally just hang. And then we're going to circle our feet, circle and circle and circle, circle and circle and circle. And then we go the other way. Keep just allowing your head to feel heavy. Circle and circle. So really get those ankles, those feet working, working, working. Perfect. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side for our side lying. So whenever you're ready, come all the way down. Now I want you just to think about the position that you're in. I want you to think about your elbow directly underneath your shoulder. I want you to think about the length through the whole of your spine. Your knees are stacked, and now you're looking at the ribs again. Okay? So from here, we'll take that top hand up, and we're just going to allow your underside ribs to open, and then underside ribs to close. So we'll just focus on the underside initially. Now feel that this is your spine laterally flexing and up. Lateral flexion and up. If you would prefer, you can think about the top side of the ribs. So as I come down, the top side of the ribs come together. Then the top side of the ribs part. So we come down. So just think you are moving your back. That's the importance of this. Down and up and down and up. And we'll do two more and up and one more and up. Now you have a little light onto your elbow, and it's going to come down, around, up into almost extension, forwards, around, up, and again, moving your back, up, big spine here, and again you can think about little lateral flexions if it works for you, around and back up. We'll just do one more. This makes you dizzy, then please just stop. And again, around and up and down and around and up and down and around and up. Stabilize from the waist down, down and around and up. And we'll just do one more, down and around and up. Now slowly from there, we get a little break onto our elbows by sliding this hand all the way down. Now remember, you have got options here. You can always bend at the elbow, or if you would prefer, as we said earlier, you can always have this hand out and put some cushions or something underneath your head. Now simply from there, a little bit of lateral hip. I want you to push the top seat bone away from you, thinking about a little bit of almost space, or certainly just in your mind a little lift of the underside waist. And then simply from there, flex, and we're going to circle and circle, circle and circle. So we're doing our lateral hip now. Circle, circle, circle. Imagine that you had a little cloth, a cloth that is on the sole of your foot, and you're just cleaning a window. You're moving from your thigh bone, not from your foot. Absolute stability in your pelvis. And we'll reverse and go the other way. Circle and circle, circle and circle. Really focus on your form, in your breathing. I want you to think about your lungs coming right up to the top of your shoulders. That they start in the top of your shoulders and they come right down to the base of your ribs. And so you have to fill right up to the top of your shoulders when you inhale, and then get rid of the air in the exhales. And then you're going to pause. You're going to lower this leg, lift this leg, lower this leg, lift this leg, lower and lift, lower and lift. Really think about that lateral hip. It's actually an easier movement going out to the side for the leg than it is going back. And lower and lift. We'll do 3 and lift, and 2 and lift, and 1 and lift. Now slowly from there, bring that knee all the way back in. You're going to try as best you can to stack those knees. I'm going to now bend at the elbows, the fingertips nearly touch, and just come a little further forward so that you're not going to roll off your mat. Think book openings that we've done in the past, but these are slightly different. So I'm going to start to open up. I'm trying from the waist down to stay as stable as I can be. So all the way to the opening and all the way to the closing. So keep pushing that top hip away from you as you come back, and all the way back. And again, think middle back rotations. Make sure that that neck stays super long throughout. Always beautifully long and lengthened. And we'll just do a couple more of these. Open, 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 open. And all the way back. And open, 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 open. And all the way back. Now on this next one, you can leave the arms open. Really think about the length in your spine. And then I'm simply going to open the top leg so that I find myself pretty much on my sacrum, and then close it again. Now I'm trying really hard to keep my shoulder blades beautifully flat. We open and we close. And we open and we close. So keep the length through your spine throughout. So try not to hike this hip. Keep lengthening it the whole time. And center. And really focus on that length. So be careful that you're not, for example, tucking your chin in when you pull the legs across. Think supine spine twist. Remember, this is what a supine spine twist for us can look like. Knees to the side. This is a very basic one. These are slightly more advanced ones. So it's our low middle back or low thoracic rotators. That's what we were basically trying to get at when we're doing this. Okay, but we're doing one side at a time. And then slowly from there, reach the legs away, reach the arms away, take a lovely stretch. And then bring the arms all the way around, drag those feet in, hug in. And you might want to just thigh bone circle a couple of times one way and a couple of times the other way. And then just as we did earlier, we would lift the head, neck and chest, breathe out and just slowly bring it all the way back around. We can take another one of our little stretches by pushing the legs out. Can you pull one away? Can you pull the other away? So you really are pulling those seat bones right back and sit up as tall as you can. And then slowly we come all the way forwards. Just hang the head. Pause. Breathe into the back and the base of the lungs. And restack, low back, middle back, upper back, and eyes. Now from there, just a little bit of lateral stretching into a Z-sit if you can manage. And you're going to bring one arm up and hold it here. Now you're going to think about the concept again of your ribs. The ribs open on one side and they close together on the other. And then you're going to take a hold of that wrist if you can. And you're going to take a little stretch and a pull. And then slowly bring it all the way down and around. Lift it up and we're going to repeat. Take a hold of that wrist as you come up to come over. Really feel that lovely stretch. But then rounding forwards, releasing the hand, bringing it back up. So remember your rib cage paths, holding that wrist, coming up to come over, and allow it to come all the way down. We'll just do one more. Up to come over. Pull gently, very weighted through your seat bones. And then let it come all the way down and pause. And we'll do exactly the same on the other side. So sitting as tall as you possibly can, you're going to bring your arm up. You're going to think about your ribs, and you're thinking your spine here, laterally flexing. And then you're going to hold on to your wrist, and you're going to add a little bit more stretch to that. And then allow a little rotation forwards as it comes all the way down. Bring that arm back up, come across to the side, and pull, 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 pull. And then a little rotation forwards, down and around, all the way back up. And again, we've got two more. Make sure this underside shoulder is nice and weighted. We're going to hold, take a little stretch, and then coming all the way down and around. We'll do one more. So if you couldn't sit like this, for example, you could always try to get that same lengthening sensation just sitting in a little diamond position. Or alternatively, you could, oops, let's go this way. You could sit on a chair and just do exactly the same in a seated position. So we've got one more like this. Pull those ribs apart. Really feel that lovely, lovely length. And then a little rotation and bring it all the way down, around and pause. Now from there, I just want you to come up to you how you sit. If this is uncomfortable for you, you could try like so, it's good for the feet. And I just want you to circle a couple of times your shoulder blades, circle, 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 and then we go the other way. Circle, circle, circle. Now from there, we're going to try a little bit of almost supine position while we do these circles. You're going to have your hands coming back behind you. My bottom is well in front of my hands. And just simply from there, allow your collarbones to open. So feel how lovely and open without curling your tail underneath you. And I just want you to circle back and back and back. So really try not to compress your spine. Circle and circle, circle and circle. Now try and go the other way. Little bit of circling, quite hard, but just still moving those shoulders. Go back to the first, open and open and open and open. Now pause here. So you're very open through front of the chest. Imagine somebody is almost prodding you with something in between your shoulder blades. And it's simply from there, I want you to lift your hips up. Just hold, and then bring it back down again. So that might be enough for you. Again, open through the front of the chest, lift up, and hold. Holding and breathing. And let it come back down. So you should hopefully be feeling this all across the front of your chest. And we repeat, inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, lifting up, so opening up your hips as well, and all the way back down. And we can add to this. We could add a little bit of a tricep exercise to this. So open up the front of the chest, remember your shoulder blade circles backwards, and then you're going to lift up and hold. Now see if you could bend the elbows back and back up. Elbows back and back up. If you need your feet a little closer underneath you, please take them back and up, back and up, back and up. Keep those collarbones open all the time, back and up, back and up, back and up, back and up. We'll do 3 and 2 and 1. All the way up and bring it down. So from here, sitting as tall as you can again, can you pull those seat bones right back so that you're trying to get as much length as you can through your hamstrings. You're now going to hold your hands behind your middle skull. And from there, we're going to think rather like canoeing or swimming. So imagine this is your slow motion. This is what it should look like. So I want you to be thinking here again about your spine. Imagine you were dropping the paddle down into the water as you're canoeing, and down and down. Or it's rather like swimming. Keep your eyes up if you can. Swim. Swim, like you'd be doing a front crawl. Swim and swim, swim and swim. But as you're doing this, can you think about what your spine is doing? It's opening on one side, or the ribs are opening on one side and closing on the other. Could you go the other way? Up and up and up and up. So it becomes more almost of an extension. Up, up, up and up, up and up. Now other things you could do here would be to have your hands onto your forehead. If behind your head is too much for you, you could also bend those knees if you would prefer. And up and up. We'll just do one more pause and allow your arms to come all the way back down. Now slowly from there, we're going to bring it all the way around to our fronts and just do a little bit of prone to finish. So carefully bring yourself down onto your tummy, and you're going to stack your hands on top of each other. So the first thing I want you to think about is length in your spine. So really focusing on reaching your tail away from you, really focusing on your sacrum being long and lengthened, your shoulder blades are soft. And all I want you to do from here is begin to lift up, 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 and bring it back down. So you're going to lift up, 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 and all the way back down. So I'm keeping one elbow down onto the mat as I lift the other up. Lift, 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 and all the way back down. Lift, 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 and all the way back down. If this is really hard for you to keep both hands like so, then you could always just leave one hand down and pause. You'd have to exchange as you lifted the other. So this is just a little alternative that you could do. Lifting and back down. Lifting and back down. But if you can, we keep those hands absolutely glued together. We lift and lower. Watch for elbow padding. If you're on a higher mat like me here, you might not get quite so high because your elbows sometimes tend to fall off the edges of the mat. Lift and lower. And we lift and lower. This is just your option if those elbows get a little uncomfortable. Lift and lower. And slowly from there, we're now going to think about a more classical almost version of our swan. So from here, just make sure that your feet aren't falling off the back edge of the mat. I want you to bring your hands down so that your hands are pretty much level with your shoulders. Your palms are flat and your elbows reach away from you. I don't want you to pinch the elbows at all. Just have them reaching down gently away from your shoulders. Now your neck is beautifully long. Again, your sacrum is always lengthened away from you. And I want you just to very slowly begin to bring your head up just a touch. So just bring it a little way up, away from the mat. And then I want you to think about your neck lifting a little tiny way away from the mat, and pause. Now focus on your rib cage, and as you inhale, you're going to allow your eyes to reach forwards a little. They take the ribs with them, so the ribs move forwards and down, and we're going to push up, allowing the hips to come away from the mat. Now bend at your elbows to bring it all the way back down, 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 and pause. So we're going to repeat that again. Whenever you're ready, the head lifts up a little. Let your eyes go forwards a little, let your neck follow. And then think about your rib cage. Your ribs need to go down and forwards. You push a little into those hands, keep the shoulders soft, and bring it all the way back up. And again, elbows beautifully in by your sides as you bring it back down. So lift the head up just a touch. Think lengthen your spine. Allow your eyes to move forwards. Obviously your neck is in alignment with your head. Now focus on the ribs, and preferably on an inhale with the elbows reaching away from you. Inhale, the ribs go down and they go forwards. And we lift up, allowing the hips to come off. And then all the way back down. Can we do just 2 more of these? So my nose is touching currently. I allow the head to come up a little. Then my eyes need to reach forwards just a touch. Keep length in your spine. Then slowly on an inhale, ribs go forwards, they go down, and you come up, 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 up. And all the way back down. We're just going to do 1 more. Inhale into the back and the base of the lungs. As you exhale, lift your head up. And slowly from there, the eyes move forwards a touch. The elbows reach away from you. The elbows don't pinch together. The ribs move forwards as you inhale, and they drop down as you push up. And let it come all the way back down. And you can just circle your shoulders back a couple of times. Pause. Bring the legs close together. Push yourself all the way up. Bring your knees in underneath you. And allow yourself to stretch back. And I want you to breathe into the back and the base of your lungs, your back again. And breathe. And if it feels good to you, come across to one side of your mat and all the way over with the opposite seat bone and heel. And then you can come across to the other side and all the way over. And again, as you come over, I'm thinking if my hands are to the right, my left seat bone is up and over my left heel. And then slowly from there all the way back, up and over. And on this last one, we can bring the arms up and over and pause. And then just creep the hands a little down and down and down so you can get a little bit more of a stretch all under here. The armpit, the lats. And you'll come all the way over. Pause. Seat bone comes up over opposite heel. And you can just walk those hands around and around and pause. And then slowly all the way back through center. Restack, low back, middle back, upper back, eyes. And then slowly from there, just think about your back. How we began with our feet in front. And just allow a couple of those wave-like movements. Up and around, and pause. A little rotation, up and around. Just feel the back moving. And a little rotation to the side, up and around, up and around. And pause. And just bring your legs in. Big inhale. And an exhale. One more big inhale. And an exhale. And thank you so much. I hope you really feel like you moved your spine a little bit. Slightly different to what we normally do. I'm just experimenting with myself, experimenting with you, and I'll be back really shortly